Jared, you're so sleek. Mikey and Jared, they're making picks.
Hello and welcome. This is episode 5 of Slick Picks, week 4 of the NFL. Jared and I are tied at 10 points a pop, and we're both hitting exactly 55.9% of our bets, which is
Wait, Mikey, is that a winning record?
that's a winning record. Yeah,
That's a winning record. That's crazy. How about that? Continue.
yeah. I mean, it's pretty nuts. I mean, that's really it. That's it. We're winners. If you hit 55% of your bets, you can not only live in Vegas, you could probably buy Vegas. So
It's facts. Vegas loves to preach that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to dilly-dally. Let's just jump right into it. Does everyone have their picks? Everyone's ready?
Oh,
Who's our guy?
I got my picks.
Who's that?
Yeah. Who's the guy? Who's this
For
guy?
those that aren't
above
watching
me?
the YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're watching YouTube, then you already know. Obviously, it's your boy, the Birdman, Steve Gloss, aka Stevie Furniture, aka Cool Baby. I'm back again. The most requested guest again this year. What are the odds? Especially after that fucking dog shit guest you guys had last week. I forget his name.
Yeah. You might be the
stunk.
most controversial guest we've ever had.
That's
After
true. I
not
did
only
get
what
canceled
they-
twice this week.
Yeah, what that guy said about you last week, which we won't repeat, and then you got in a little trouble with the TikTok community for being
Well, listen,
anti-Semitic.
I'm just
which
gonna-
I agree with.
I'm gonna address the controversy right off the bat. Miami Dylan has no fucking clue what that guy's talking about.
I agree.
Honest, I don't want to say it, but I'm pretty sure he was on something last episode. All right. If you notice, his picks were fucking dog shit. His 4-point pick, which didn't even count, was maybe the only one that hit. I think maybe one of his other picks hit. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But kid stunk. All right. I got these posters in the back here. This one right here says Miami Dill, more like Miami Damn, this guy stinks. The picture of him from the Zoom, and he's got some. I don't know. You can't really see it that well, but he's got some stink marks coming off of him because the guy stinks.
Yeah, he's a dirtbag. I gotta agree with you. What did he go last week?
I
0-3?
know that his Raiders pick missed.
Shocker.
Yeah, Miami won, so that covered, but that
That was
a
his 4-point pick.
Yeah, I don't know. How do we count that?
Doesn't count. It doesn't
yeah.
count. I fucking hate that guy. Welcome to the show, Steve. I just want to say that
I'm
when
so
I
happy
saw
to
you
be here.
getting attacked on TikTok, it made my heart warm, and I just hopped right into that.
Do you maybe-
I too.
Yeah, before we
Most of
hash
the hate
out the
comments
picks,
from
what
my
happened on TikTok for anyone who doesn't know?
Well, I got canceled by the Jewish community. I think in a video I suggested that a yarmulke would be a part of a Halloween costume.
That's
For
a
the Miami
religious.
Choir Boys.
Yeah. Listen, it was just a video about the
No.
Miami Boys Choir. If you haven't seen
Yeah.
them, go check them out on TikTok. They're fucking elite. And go check out my TikTok. It's at SM Gloss. Follow me on all social medias at SM Gloss. We get sometimes we knock down a little bit, but we get right back up. TikTok is currently at 30,000 views. Oops.
Nice.
Swimming in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let's make that the goal for this episode. 30,000 clicks on
Yeah. Hey,
Spotify.
if I'm now I'm on the show, that's your best chance.
Yeah, if we get 30,000 clicks on this episode, I will show my penis and quit my job.
Wow.
Ooh, okay.
All right.
I guess I got to view this 30,000 times.
The energy
All
of
right.
this to start off is chaotic as fuck. I appreciate that. Jared, I took the 1-point play last week to start us off. You want to start this week?
Yeah, I'll start us off this week. There's 4 picks I really liked this week.
Only 4?
And there's 7 or 8 that I enjoy. There's 4 of them that are absolute unquestionable locks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take the I tried to sniff out a rat last week and it bit me in the ass. So I'm gonna just go with the rat play this week. I'll take the Cardinals +2 versus the Panthers. That was the one that jumped out to me when I looked at the book.
Yep.
The Panthers are not as good as the Cardinals, and I don't like the Cardinals. I talked poorly about this team before the season started. I stand by that. I don't like Kyler Murray very much. I think that team really needs DeAndre Hopkins, but they've gotten some pieces in there that I think are working well. They have that. I think he's like a rookie. It's like Doxson or something like that. He's getting 14 fantasy points a week.
Are you talking about the Cardinals?
Yeah.
Greg Dortch. Greg Dortch.
Greg Torch?
Dortch. D-O, yeah, Dortch.
Yeah, really bad name.
Yeah, no, it's a
but
rough
good
name.
football player nonetheless. I
Mhm.
think that the team is, respectable. I think it's good, but I think the Panthers are dog shit. I think that Baker Mayfield is just Sam Darnold 2.0, which sucks to say because I had high hopes for him, honestly, but he's just looked awful. Christian McCaffrey, he's getting 100 yards a game, but I think that just offense just has no juice, and he is not going to be able to do enough to beat this Cardinals team who has played fairly well the past couple games. Kyler Murray has a little bit of an X factor to him, and that's going to be the difference. I have them written down as underdogs. I wrote that down correctly, right? Cardinals plus
Yeah,
2.
I couldn't believe it. So this is my honorable mention. I actually didn't go with it just because I don't even know why.
It's
but
cheese.
yeah, this is cheese. What type
Seems
of
like a
cheese
trap
is
to me,
this?
man.
Yep. What type of
Mhm.
cheese, Jared?
It's rat cheese.
Rat
Blue
cheese.
cheese, maybe. I don't
Blue
know.
cheese. Okay.
I
This
agree.
is a WTF game, wrong team favorite. Like how in God's name is Carolina favored against anyone?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
It doesn't make any sense to me. That's why I left it off my board. I thought it was a bit of a trap game. I just don't like the Cardinals enough either, to be honest with you. I hate the Panthers this year. They stink, but the Cardinals I don't think are much better. So
I don't hate the thought process there, Steve. And it wasn't. I have it written down as my honorable mention. I replaced the Raiders 2.5 versus the Broncos for this pick. It's just because last week I tried to outsmart the cheese, and I killed myself, and now I'm all in on cheese.
Yeah, cheese good. Might upset your tummy a little bit if you have too much, but that's all right. Just have a little bit of cheese.
Okay.
Okay. I'll give my 1 point play here. It's not a very sexy one, but it's Patriots and Packers under 40.5. Betting the under, no fun, but I think it will be here. Patriots offense actually looked like kind of okay last week, but surprisingly, the Ravens are one of the worst defenses in the league. They're giving up the most yards per game and the ninth most points. Pretty wild to imagine. Prior to that, Patriots only scored 7 and then 17 points. Now they have to play the Packers, a much better defense, giving up the 6 fewest points, 6 fewest yards. And then when you think about it, like the strength of these teams are both their defenses and both their run games. Like if you were to name the 4 best skill positions on these teams, you might pick all 4 running backs. So I just think there's going to be a game with a lot of running, a lot of defense. It's going to be low scoring. I looked into it, and Rodgers hasn't fared that well against the Packers. He averages 1.3 touchdowns a game. So, not even 2 touchdowns and under 220 yards. Mac Jones is going to be out. This Packers team also isn't lighting it up. They're only scoring 23, 27, 14 points. I mean, that's not getting into the 30s where they're going to end up like scaring to cover this on their own. I'm imagining this game is going to be like 24-14, and that's going to be the game.
Yeah, the fact that Mac Jones is out and Brian Hoyer is getting the start bodes well for the under here. I agree 100% with this. I don't even really have anything else to say. It's kind of the Packer. I think last week kind of showed us that Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady are both a little bit maybe dead, and that it's kind of just they're kind of propped up right now with good defenses, which bodes well for an under.
Yeah. I think the Packers by the end of the year will look like a better team as some of these younger players like Christian Watson gets on the field, starts impacting. Romeo Dobbs becoming just a better and better player each week. But right now, like earlier in the season, this is when they're going to be at their worst. So give me Packers, Patriots under.
Great pick.
Yeah, I like that pick. I consider taking that game. I would have taken the spread either way, but I don't know. 10 points is a lot for a not so great Packers team, in my opinion.
Yeah.
My 1 point play here. I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys -3. I'm done betting against Cooper Rush, man. I can't do it anymore.
All he does is
Rush all the time, and every time it fails me. I just can't fucking do it anymore. So I'm betting on the Cowboys this time.
Versus the Commanders, right?
Yes, versus the Commanders. It's a home game for the Cowboys. They're given the Cowboys are the favorites. So I'm taking the Cowboys here. I think the Commanders got off to a little bit of a hot start, but I just don't see that continuing at all. I don't know. They've had some like decent games. Carson Wentz has looked okay. He's been a decent fantasy quarterback, so that's been nice. But outside of that, I just think the Commanders are pretty terrible.
Great pick.
Cooper Rush hasn't lost a game in his career.
No,
Mhm.
dude.
You can't ignore that.
He beat the Vikings last year. I had him in my Survivor League this year against whoever they played his first week back. And I thought it was the Bengals.
Yeah.
Bengals coming off a big loss. Cooper Rush started.
Great pick.
So it's an easy Bengals win and couldn't do it. So I'm done betting against Cooper. Can't do it anymore. I'm on the Cooper Rush bandwagon. Shout out Mike Goodger. Shout out Cooper Rush in that order.
Yeah, I'm on the opposite end of it where you are like, I can't bet against Cooper Rush. I can no longer bet for Carson Wentz. I gave him my last bone last week, and he just absolutely skull fucked me with that performance he put out there against the Eagles. Man, what a dog shit performer! What a terrible quarterback! Send him to the gulag.
No, what's crazy about that
last
game?
Week?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, Jared, you texted me last week.
Yeah, I did.
I told you I'd ride the wave with you, and I did. And I forgot I did until you texted me sorry. You texted me sorry, and I was like, "Oh yeah, man, I fucking forgot I bet on the Commanders game because of Jared. It was not close. They scored 2 points, bro. Like, what even is
Dude,
that?
I was telling everyone. I was like, this is my sharpest bet of the year. Eagles, absolute trap game right now.
You told me lock of the millennium was your exact verbiage.
Yep.
So yeah, tough day for Jared Sarlo.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm eating the cheese now. Because
24-8 doesn't even
like
that was the final score. That was not
tough,
what that
man.
game was like. That game was worse than 24-8 if you're watching any of it. It was straight up non-competitive. Like,
yeah. I was fired up when my boys got 2 points though. It's like someone's got to right this ship. Let's go.
Oh my God. I was at a bar watching the games, drinking my sodas like an absolute herb. And I keep looking over. I'm like, wow, Commanders haven't scored yet. They haven't scored yet. And I look over and they just have 2 points. I'm like, what happened there? Oh my Lord.
Brutal.
Yeah, no good. One thing I like about this, I don't know if we've mentioned it. I think Mike Gallup potentially could be back this game.
He is potentially back, but I would not count on it.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think Pollard and Elliott get the job done regardless. Cooper Rush, maybe a good under game too.
Yeah. That Noah Brown
Yeah,
guy, pretty good.
He is. He is very good.
It's pretty good.
Okay.
That's all our 1 point plays. Time to hit 2 points.
Yeah, I feel great about him so far. I don't think anyone's losing this one. Already much better than Miami Dill last week. I got the Titans plus 3.5 versus the Colts. Another WTF game.
Yep.
Wrong team favorited for me here. I think the Colts are poo-poo caca, and I think the Titans are going to win the division. Titans are plus 240 to take the AFC South right now. I think that's an excellent bet to take if you're trying to go for futures. The Colts. I think last week, if the Colts don't beat the Chiefs, I think the Titans have 5.5, 4.5. If the Colts don't win against the Chiefs team, who I think isn't looking their best right now, if we're being completely honest. And the Chiefs do this every year. I know I'm not talking about my two teams, but the Chiefs team that showed up against this Colts team that earned this favorable line is not the Chiefs team that we're going to see in November. They do it every year where the Chiefs kind of have a stretch. Mahomes looks shaky and people start to doubt. People don't really talk about the Chiefs. That's where they are right now. I'm going to jump on the aftermath of that, take this favorable Colts line and ride the Titans. Mike Vrabel is a great coach. He's going to get his boys up, and I think they win outright handily.
This is not a fun one to bet on because you have to bet on a team that's just like, they just haven't looked that good so far this year. And you have to just believe that this team is going to turn it around. Surprisingly, this surprises me. 57% of the money is on the Titans right now. So it's a pretty close 57 to 43.
Man.
So people believe in the Titans here. So Jared, you're not alone.
Well, I think that's closer than what I would imagine it being, right? I mean, the Colts, I thought, am I wrong? Like, do you guys disagree?
You know what? I had such hope for this Colts team. I'm a little surprised. It'll be interesting.
I thought the Colts were going to be legit this year, man. I really did. I had them winning the division easily this year.
Me too.
Titans were going to regress horribly. But then, I don't know, dude. The Colts just look like maybe one of the worst teams in the NFL.
That's what I'm saying.
Just look terrible, man. They look not good at all.
That's what I'm saying. And I think that people are going to forget. People are going to have that image of the Titans losing 41-7 in their head until week 9, week 10. So I think you're going to get some favorable lines for the Titans going forward, starting with this underdog versus a rival team.
Yeah, division dog. That's generally a good bet, right?
Love division dogs. Love them.
Bark, bark. Yeah, I like that. Anything else to say?
Yeah, actually, you reminded me division dog. So I saw something today, and it was that the spread has not mattered in 42 out of the 48 games. So the underdog, if you bet the money line and not the points, they'd win either way. So just something to keep in your mind, betting going forward. Just if you're going to take an underdog, just take the money line.
Yep. Get that big bucks. Why take the points? It's like that. If you like the team, right?
Yeah, it usually doesn't matter, is what we're seeing so far, at least this year.
Mm-hmm. No, I was hearing about that stat earlier today from another friend of mine, and it makes sense because this year has been really weird. It feels like there hasn't been that many dominant teams, and it feels like there's a lot of upsets. So, no, that makes sense to me. So my 2-point play, and I imagine Jared's going to have some feelings about this. I really like the Dolphins. Hey, hold up. You might like it. Don't get angry yet. I like the Dolphins coming into this year, but I'm not shocked that they won last week. They're a good team. But if you look at, into the numbers, the Bills just really won that game in pretty much every aspect. Outgained them by 285 yards. They doubled the first downs. The Bills had the obvious injuries into their secondary coming into that game. You also have a short rest for Miami. This is all leading up to a Bengals pick. Just, I'm getting into the weeds here, but so Miami had to play 90 defensive snaps last week because they just really couldn't get off the field. The league average is around 60, 62. So they essentially played a game and a half last week in some of the hottest weather that you're going to have in the NFL. And then they have a short rest going into this Thursday night game against the Bengals. And then, another thing I like about this game as well, talking about Miami and Cincinnati, is that Miami blitzes a lot. They're the second highest blitz rate so far this year. And Joe Cool Burrow, very good against the blitz. He has the best passer rating against them, and he averages 11 yards per play, 12 touchdowns, 5 interceptions while being blitzed. This is a guy who doesn't panic when he's used to guys running at him. That's just how it is for him. So when they bring the blitz, he's just another day for Joe Burrow. And home teams Thursday night are 53%. Everything, take all the other context out. You already have 53% of the bets going your way. And then when you add in the fact that Miami's coming in exhausted, Joe Burrow, pairs well against this defense. I like it.
Do you want to go first, Steve, and then I can go?
Yeah. So I love that pick, honestly. I'm not in on the Dolphins 100% yet, to be honest with you. And I think there's no, I don't know. The Bengals have been such a weird team to me. If they get their O-line situation, I think they're going to be fine.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. That game seems like a little bit Thursday night. I mean, I think you're 100% right, though. I think that's a really good observation, though, about the defense. Defense is just going to be tired and stuff still from last week. So I'm definitely in on that Bengals pick. I don't hate it at all. I'd also even consider taking the under on that one.
It's good.
Yeah, the under is at under 47, so that's a fairly high number. By the way, I don't think I mentioned it's Bengals minus 3.5. I should mention. Yeah, and also potential Teddy plays in this game with Tua back injury.
The back injury.
Yep. I don't know what to make of that. No comment. But
insane thing that he had on the field, but it was that mean by back injury.
Yeah,
that's whenever. Miami Dill, he got a lot of back injuries when he was playing ball in high school.
Hey, I think he's still got 1 or 2 back injuries right now.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, him and Tua can talk about that.
Yep.
I like the pick, Mikey. That game last week, Bills Dolphins, was absolute fluke of a game. Blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. I'll see that game was 100 degrees or something on the turf.
Yeah.
People were collapsing on the field almost every play. Mark Ingram at the end of the game just fell down. Diggs was out for a lot of the end of the game because he couldn't move. And you could see it. You could see McKenzie that last play, he was trying to get out of bounds and he had no gas left. And he too collapsed at the end of the game. People weren't even upset. They were just they were dead.
Yeah.
77 snaps, absolutely absurd. Bills dominated the ball, dominated line of time of possession, yards, every statistical category that matters. The only reason the Dolphins won is because, mistakes that the Bills made that they're not going to make in December in Buffalo. So, congrats Miami for winning the Super Bowl. It ends Thursday when you play the Dolphins. Again, like you said, short week against a talented team. Joe Burrow's going to ruin their life.
Yeah, that was another thing I meant to mention, but I forgot to. I love betting teams after the Super Bowl. Like, for example, like Seattle beat Denver, and then they had to play, like, I think it was like the 49ers or whatever. I can't really remember what the next week was. I love betting that team that won their Super Bowl. Yay, we did it. Now let's just fucking coast into the next game.
Trap game. Yep. That was the biggest Miami Dolphins win in maybe 15 years.
I don't know if that's an exaggeration.
Shout out Miami for their Super Bowl.
Yeah. We'll see. I think at the end of the year, I wouldn't want to play Miami in the playoffs. I think they're a solid team. But the thing is, man, let's say it comes down to the wire again, like the cold doesn't affect teams like the heat does, like the cold's a factor. It's not going to take guys out of the game. So it'll be interesting when Miami eventually has to travel up to Buffalo. But that's my 2-point play. Steve, let's hear it.
So my 2-point play, I actually hate this play, but
nice.
Anyways.
But that's why you love it.
Yeah.
Yes, I do love it. I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars plus 6.5. Never in my life taking Cooper Rush Cowboys and the Jacksonville Jaguars on slick picks. Just didn't think it was gonna happen. But the Jacksonville Jaguars have looked pretty good, man.
Yeah.
I think giving them 6.5 points is a bit much. I think they're gonna be able to cover that spread. I know what you said earlier, Jared, that most teams the spread hasn't mattered. I think this is a game that the spread is going to matter.
I agree.
I think that the Eagles probably will, right? But I think that the Jags are going to cover. And even so, I think there's a chance that the Jags could win outright because I don't think that the Eagles are an undefeated team right now. They played some really solid games and they've got a pretty solid team, but I think they're going to crumble at some point. And the Jacksonville Jaguars have just been fucking up teams for no reason. So I got confidence in them coming into this week.
Let's really quickly examine some of these Jaguars games. So first week, they play a competitive game with the Commanders. Next week, they blow out, I think, a pretty poor team in the Colts. And then the following week, they blow out a good team in the Chargers. Each week, they've improved. I like this. This is a lot of points to give a team that looks like it's on the up and up. Like, what is the obvious reason the Jaguars won't play well in this game? I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the Eagles, like I said, the Eagles have played well, but the Eagles also have not played well in the second half. Against the Vikings, they didn't score a single point in the second half. Against the Commanders, they were up like 24-0 for the longest time against the Commanders.
Yep.
Same thing in the Vikings game. So like, you give the Jaguars that space in the second half, I think they're going to come back. And if not in this game, I think they're at least going to cover the spread.
I agree. This Eagles team, I don't think there's a team that the community is higher on right now than the Eagles. So you're going to get a lot of value betting against them. That was my strategy last week. But I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence, a once in a lifetime generational talent, going up against that than Carson fucking Wentz, who belongs in the gulag and dead. So I like that pick a lot too. I think the Jaguars are a good team. I think they're good enough to give the Eagles some problems they haven't seen yet. I think Doug Peterson is a great example of what a good coach can do.
Yep.
Look at like the Jaguars last year with Trevor Lawrence looked kind of like a bust with Urban Meyer, finger fucking buttholes. And then you have Doug Peterson, who won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles coming in. And it feels like the whole team kind of, snapped together. Josh Allen looks great, both of them. And I like this pick a lot. I was looking at that.
Let's just clarify really quickly. The Jaguars have a defensive lineman whose name is Josh Allen. I don't know if everyone knows that. I don't want everyone to be really confused by that. I wanted to interject and say that.
Well, like I said, both of them look good. The lineman and the quarterback look great, look sexy. Mm-hmm. So I like that pick, Steve. That's
Jaguars have a good defense as well. They drafted defensive players high consistently.
I agree. You are like you gotta do some, if you do drugs, Steve, I feel like doing drugs and then watching your bets with Cooper Rush and the Jacksonville Jaguars is a good time.
It's gonna be fun. That's what's gonna happen.
Do some meth.
I'm gonna get a little high,
Yeah.
maybe have a couple beers, and just watch two teams that I absolutely do not believe in, who I bet on this week. So,
hey man, dogs have performed really well. So just just believe in the process. Trust the process. I like it. I was too much of a coward to bet it. It was one of my honorable mentions. But I'm happy someone did, nut up and actually say it. So thank you.
Miami Dill would never.
Yep. Jared, let's hear a 3-point play.
All right. 3-point play. The absolute lock of the millennium here. I got the Bucks Chiefs under 45.5 here. Kind of boring to do a lock as an under, but Monday under or Sunday night unders are, I don't have the stat, but they're hitting at an absurd rate. It's just kind of how the flow has been going lately with the NFL. And on top of that, you have a Bucks team with an elite defense coupled with an anemic offense. I mentioned that Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady's both look over the hill, and that's kind of part of this as well. I don't know if their receivers are back. I know they have Mike Evans, but I don't know about Julio or Godwin. And to be honest, I don't really care.
Yeah, I don't think Godwin's coming back. I'm almost certain Godwin's not coming back. Julio could be, but again, how much Julio are you really going to be getting?
Not the real Julio. And then on top of that, you have the Chiefs, who I mentioned earlier. I think they're in their 3-4 game stretch that they do where everyone kind of looks around and is like, are the Chiefs bad? And they're going to drop a couple games. Mahomes isn't going to look great, especially against this excellent Bucks defense, probably the best defense in the NFL. I think this is a very, very easy under.
Yeah. What was the line again? What's the number on it?
45.5.
45.5. Yeah. I mean, when you think about these teams, like you're like, oh, those are two good teams. How good are these teams? How good
right now? Yeah. I
agree. No, I mean, I don't have a lot to say against it because I just kind of generally agree. I avoid totals as much as I can, but you like some of the injuries that are coming into this game. And also like, again, like I like teams that have a running back and a good defense, and then you bet on the under. So you have Fournette. Yep. And then you have a good defense. So I like that. And then Clyde's been playing well.
Yeah.
Pacheco, the other running back that they have in Kansas City, he's been, he's a grinder. He gets those yards. He's not flashy, but so you got running backs there. Yeah, I like that. I do. And I don't think the Buccaneers want to go into a shootout with Kansas City. So and Kansas City really hasn't looked that good, this offense, quite yet, That's
what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. They beat up the Cardinals week 1, but other than that, not really. This Bucs defense has let up 3, 10, and then 14.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't realize it was that.
It's a very good defense.
Yeah. Juju's awful. Can we all just take an agreement there?
I'm mad at him. Did
you draft him in fantasy?
Yep.
Yeah. I honestly, if we had talked to him, I would have talked you out of that. I promise you. I don't have a share. I have over 20 fantasy teams, including my underdog stuff. I don't have one share of Juju on.
I was hyping it up. I was so fired up when I got him, man.
Yeah. No, I love it. I don't like it. I love it.
Thank you. What do you got? What's your play here?
All right, let's get juicy. Vikings win last week, but it wasn't pretty. Lions won time of possession, passing yards, rushing yards. With 2 minutes left, the Lions had an 88% win percentage. Lions had to blow a massive coverage and make several questionable coaching decisions. This isn't meant to be pro Lions. It's a little bit anti-Vikings. We had, what'd you say?
I said, but guess what? What happened at the end of the game?
You guys won.
Oh, there it is. I just came. Sorry, boys.
All good. All good. No, and as you should, because here's the thing.
We're pro sex.
Hey, man, you won, and that's all that matters. But we're looking into week 4 here. You have Kirk Cousins, and everyone likes to make these narratives that he's not good under pressure and like prime time. And I don't really think that's it. If you look at Kirk Cousins in non-1 p.m. games, he's awful. I think he had a lot on his shoulders last week, and he found a way to win the game. So I don't know if Kirk isn't necessarily unclutch. I just think he's a man who he has like OCD. his days are planned out to the minute. Like he has like a schedule and it's like color coded and he does this at this time, this at this time. He's a very meticulous guy. And you get a guy like that, a bit of an OCD meticulous guy traveling across the globe to play football. I like that.
London. It's the London game.
Yes. He's 34% ATS in non-1 p.m. games. Saints also had an ugly game, but I think the stats are a bit misleading there. Again, Saints outgained Panthers by over 100 yards, one time possession. And I like the Lattimore-Jefferson matchup. Again, Jefferson, I don't expect him to go absolutely off this game because he's again playing against a really good corner. Underdogs 7-1 last week. Teams with over 60% of the money are hitting less than 20%. And that is in fact the case here with, if I could pull it up here, the Vikings, drum roll. So install for me. The Vikings are getting 82% of the money. Give me Saints plus 2.5.
Well, it's an absolute dog shit pick, Mikey. I'll tell you why. The Vikings are it, man. They're it. We're going to the Super Bowl this year.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people didn't believe in us, including myself, after week 2. But then after last week, we showed that we're it.
How'd you feel at halftime of last week?
Not good. Not good. I haven't felt good about the Vikings a whole lot this year, but when I did feel good, when KJ Osborne stepped into the end zone with the ball in his hands, that's when I felt good as a Vikings fan. That was an all-time great moment for me. We don't lose to the Lions. We just don't do it.
Yeah.
Failing to forget about this game, Mikey, is that we have the Saints number.
Do you?
Have.
Oh, you do.
We got their number, man. Listen, Kirk Cousins might not be able to do it in most primetime games, but you know where he does it against or who he does it against?
The Vikings.
Saints. We beat them in the playoffs. I don't know, every year ever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I just obviously I can't get behind this pick at all. I'm just not going to.
Here's a question though: was Case Keenum the QB during?
He goes for the first one because that was the Minneapolis Miracle.
Yeah,
the QB for one season, and then the following year, maybe 2 years later, we beat the Saints in the playoffs again.
Just Kirk,
last minute drive kind of thing, and that was Kirk.
Ah, man,
I did not know Kirk was ever in the playoffs. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, he was in the playoffs, and we beat the Saints. So
this isn't playoffs though. I feel like Jameis Winston might do some wacky shit. He might like throw a touchdown pass off his butt.
Hey, it's always possible. I don't hate the over in this game, to be honest. It's London. I feel like people are going to show up.
I've heard this is a very fast turf. That's what I've been told about this Tottenham turf. The over is at 43.5, fairly low.
Don't hate that.
Yep.
Jared, what are your
good? I think it's a fine pick, Mikey.
Yeah.
I like that. I just think Jameis is going to do something crazy. It feels like Jameis Winston's about to pop off time, and it seems like it will happen in London. I just feel like I'm going to wake up Sunday, and then I'm going to look at my phone, and it'll be like Jameis Winston like scored a touchdown and then broke his leg, and then he came out and threw 2 touchdowns and shot a guy. And I am looking forward to it.
Winston, to me, is a very British sounding name. I think he's going to feel really at home. It's going to feel like a home game for the Saints.
Oh, Winston.
Yep.
Mr. Winston.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even think about that.
With a blimey of a strike.
Yeah, so you didn't think about that. You got to always consider, does the last name sound like it's British when you're playing one of these international games? And then when it's a German game, we'll have to think if it's a German sounding name. But yeah, no, that's my 3-point play. Steve, I'm assuming you're betting on the Vikings then in this game.
Yeah, I'm definitely betting on the Vikings. I don't have it as my 3-point play though. It's my 4-point play. We'll get to that in a second.
Nice.
I got Bills Ravens over. I got it at 49 points.
Yep.
I think is far too low. I think listen, I'm all in on the Bills winning this game. I don't like him at -3. I don't hate him at -3, but I don't like it at -3. But I got the over. I'm hitting the over all day on this. The Bills secondary is injured still. Their defense is just as a whole is injured. I think they're going to give up some points here. I think they're going to score a lot of points, but just like you were saying about the Miami game, the Bills are also coming off of an incredibly hot game. Also something that Buffalo is just not used to. Miami sometimes is used to that. Buffalo is not. So, I think their defense is going to be a little slow. I think it might start off a little hot for the Ravens. I think the Bills are definitely going to come back, but I think it's just going to be a high scoring game. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of defense involved in this game.
Yeah, Ravens, worst defense in the league right now.
Yeah. So I'm
pick.
absolutely pumping the over on this one.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot, actually, because that Bills offense should not have an issue. They got like 400 something yards last week. Despite only putting up 17, they just made some critical errors down the line. And then, like you said, that defense right now, man, is so beaten up, so bad. I'm expecting Xavier Rhodes to get signed very soon, and I think he'll start as cornerback 2. That's kind of where they're at. They were starting, so we're gonna have our first round rookie be cornerback 1, and then our 6th round rookie cornerback, who was cornerback 2, got hurt. So now it's either gonna be Cam Lewis, who no one knows, or Xavier Rhodes. So I like that a lot. Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen are in my 2 front runners for the MVP right now. Third, Jalen Hurts.
I think, I probably not Kirk Cousins, but those top 3 I think are all actually very good options, good places to put your money. Probably not Kirk Cousins. We have less than a minute left. Jared, do you have a underdog? Should I just yell at my underdog?
Underdog, listen, Underdog, the app is so sexy, so fun, so easy to use. Promo code SLICK. We'll match your first bet to $100. You get paid, and we literally get paid, so please do it. My underdog play, I got Darnell Mooney under 40.5 receiving yards, Cordell Patterson over 60 yards total, DK Metcalf under 60.5 total. What do you got, Mikey?
I have Kirk Cousins under 270, Christian Kirk over 65, and then I also like Cordell Patterson over 60 as well. The podcast is about to end because of Zoom. Thank you all for listening, and it's been a hell of a week. Shout out Miami Dill.